So hi, One of the Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with,
Skylar from Taking Meds.
and we're asking some questions today about their new album, Terrible Things from Wonderful Men. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to it so far?
Good. I think it's been the best we've had so far for a release, so it's nice.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. Very happy to hear that. So, is there any meaning behind the album name Terrible News from Wonderful Men or the cover art?
I wanted to call it Wonderful News from Terrible Men, and there was no meaning behind that name.
Okay.
I just thought it was funny, and then someone suggested we flip it, and everybody laughed. So I was like, "That's pretty good too. We'll do that." But then I guess a lot of the songs are kind of bleak, so it's kind of like just a collection of terrible news. I kind of put that together after, and I was like, yeah, I guess that works, you know.
Okay.
The cover art, I thought, I don't think it like there's a direct like correlation that I can intellectualize with the themes on the record, but I just thought it fit. My friend Jared Bouchang is an artist in South America, living in South America, and he's mostly a visual artist, but he's also a photographer. And when I found that in on his website, I reached out to him because I just immediately thought it worked really well and wanted to use it. I mean, it is a man eating alone with like a light covering his face. I thought thematically it went nicely with the album and the title.
For sure.
Do you think for your next one you're going to flip it back to your original idea, to the album title?
Probably not. No.
Okay, that would have been cool, but okay.
So can you tell us a little about your writing process for this album?
Sure. So for the most part, myself and our other guitarist Ben get together, and he plays drums. He did a lot of the initial writing for this one. Usually, I would say the majority of the guitar gets written by him, and then a good chunk gets written by me as well. A lot of stuff I had finished got used on our last EP, The Meds You Deserve, and so this one I feel like was a lot of Ben riffs, but he's also pretty decent on the drums. So we'll get together. Usually, up till now, it's been the way we do stuff is just me and him at first, and we'll flesh out songs. Maybe even just start with a riff and then write out the rest of the song together, just kind of feeling our way through it, and we'll record them that way. And then some of them I would write vocals to right after that, and others we would wait until we had again gotten together as a four-piece and fleshed out the song even more.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the music generally gets written first, and then the vocals, and then the song "Sit Go" on there was a riff that our bass player John had been chewing on for like the better part of a year, maybe longer. And when we were doing pre-production, we took some time with that riff and ended up fleshing out that song as well. And then John and Alex both write their own parts too. John especially, wrote all his own bass parts on this record, and Alex, makes the drum parts what they are. I think John wrote the chorus and Overripe. Yeah, that's the general process though. A lot of it begins with two of us, but it ends with all of us in a room.
Okay, so it's relatively collaborative. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So I want you to tell us your favorite lyric off this record and the meaning behind it.
Oh God. I really like in moving the stash. There's a line that's like a well placed bomb across town while a warehouse gets cleaned out. Gather with the crowd, let them tell me about it. Which doesn't suggest much meaning at all outside the context of the song, but the song is just a kind of like using like exciting crime imagery to as a metaphor for not wanting to get close and open up to people. I think it's like a short way I can describe it. And I am very interested in, like, I love crime dramas and stuff like that. I'm interested in crime in general, like as a concept. So I want to do that more, and I was happy with how that song turned out.
Okay, I like that.
Okay, that's interesting. That's very interesting.
So what song on the album took the longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
Oh, these are good questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Crepe Hanger took the longest to write, I would say. I hope the other guys don't disagree with me on any of this, but I really feel like we messed with that one a lot. And my favorite is Tangerines, probably.
Okay.
Solid. So how did the track list for this record come about? Did you guys write the opener to be an opener, closer to be a closer, to kind of shuffle it together, listen through a couple times? What was that process like?
No, we just wrote all the songs, and then somewhere towards the end it always comes into conversation. Well, what are you guys thinking for order? And yeah, I don't know. You kind of just feel it out. I think on this one we tried to put this. We put the first two singles first, just to kind of see if that would work to draw people in, and then hopefully the rest of the record would be strong enough to keep them engaged. That was a conscious decision. And then beyond that, you know, it's you just kind of try to find a consensus on how the songs should flow dynamically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no like lyrical order or anything like that. No heavily thematic order.
Okay.
Okay, that's fair.
So where was your headspace at while you were writing this album?
All over the place, because we wrote it over probably the better part of a year, you know, so it was all the places that a person's headspace goes in a year, or that mine goes. Yeah, I think it's like it's not like we like sat down for a month and had like a writing session, you know. So
Yeah.
but I think my headspace is always the creative headspace is always one of like heightened focus and excitement, and when you're doing it successfully you kind of shut a lot of things out that you normally wouldn't, and you're fixated and uh, you have to remember to drink water and all that
Mhm.
kind of stuff.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah, anything that any like lyrical themes that are coming from like other emotional times. Like I can't write when I'm really really upset,
Mhm.
but I can make a note of something and in a notebook or whatever. But when I'm like actually putting the lyrics together in a way that I think is um, like pleasing to look at and hear, I'm focused and not preoccupied
Mhm.
and not highly emotional.
Yeah. That's interesting. I don't think we've spoken to a person who's like, I can't write when I'm like in the moment. A lot of people are like, oh, I'm angry. Let me go write. But you make notes of stuff when you're in that headspace, and then you go and write on it when you're kind of out of that.
Yeah, I honestly even when I make, because I have like a lyrics
Mhm.
note section of my notes app. I'm
Yeah.
sure everybody does, but when I don't, I think like when I find most inspiration is when I'm reflecting,
Mhm.
not when I'm reacting.
Oh, okay. I get it now. That makes
Not
sense.
as not as a principle. That's just how it happens for me. I'm too when I'm upset or um let's just say upset. I'm too wrapped up in the emotion to like do something um creative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Before we move on, can you show us your cat? I saw him in the frame.
There was a cat.
Yeah.
There's a cat. I want to say
Come
hi.
here. She's obsessed with the laser pointer right now. It's the only way I'm gonna get her up here. Look, come on. It's up here. Come get it up here. Come on. You just come up here. Oh, this is Phoebe.
Hi, Phoebe.
Hi, Phoebe. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Phoebe does not want to
Say
be on
hi.
camera right now.
Oh, I love Phoebe. It's amazing.
Perfect.
He is
That's
obsessed with the laser pointer. It's very funny. I don't know how
It's
it
perfect.
took me this long. It's not. My friend brought it over.
Mhm.
I owe it all to her.
Awesome. All right. So back to the album. How do you recommend your fans to listen to the album for the first time? Should they play it in the car with friends? Should they play it in the dark with headphones on? Should they blast it at a party? What do you personally recommend?
That's a good question. I think it's a pretty good driving album.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't ever want to listen to something new with friends
Yeah.
or
Okay.
anybody else. I
Yeah.
always wanted to do it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, driving or headphones on a commute. It's a good record for your kind of everyday stuff. It's not it's a like upbeat rock record.
Mm-hmm.
You definitely don't need to listen to it in the dark or anything like that.
Fair enough.
Perfect.
This question should be super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
I guess it's like upbeat
Okay.
90s
Okay.
rock.
There you go.
Perfect.
There you go. That's perfect. You got it. You got it.
I don't think it's good though. I don't think it's a good descriptor, but that's what we got. So
Okay.
Okay. If you think of a better pair, then you can always just, blurt it out if we're,
it's
in the middle of saying a question or if you're in
it's
the middle of answering
it's
one.
it's definitely 90s. That could be the 3 words. It's definitely 90s.
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
There you go. Even better.
There we go, Phoebe.
So is there a certain feeling or emotion you want this album to invoke in your listeners?
Yeah, I want it to be comforting because I think when I listened to I don't know, someone who talks pretty plainly about things being bad, like a good example of someone who does that, I think, is Elliott Smith. And I always really liked Elliott Smith. And when I was listening to him a lot, people would always be like, doesn't that bum you out to listen to him that much? And I was like, not at all. It's nice. It makes me, I don't know. It makes me feel better that like somebody else is seeing things in a certain way and singing about it, especially because some of his songs have some fucking rock in them too. It's like kind of a juxtaposition of the feeling of the music and the subject matter of the song that I always liked. So yeah, I hope that there's some comfort in it for people, I guess.
Oh. Yeah. So what band or artist influence you think you can hear the most on this album, if any?
What band's influence can you hear the most?
Yes.
I think there's a distinct Superchunk influence in some parts. As always, I think that there is a distinct Polvo influence. There's a part that everyone says sounds like Failure and Hum. So again, 90s stuff.
Yeah.
Just seems to be what we gravitate towards when we're writing. So.
Yeah. Perfect. So what is your favorite memory that you've made while creating this record?
Well, I'm very bad at Mario Party.
Okay.
I'll always remember how badly I get my ass kicked at Mario Party.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
So did you guys play that a lot?
I'm not too sentimental, so we'll just go with that. Yeah, we played a lot of Mario Party.
Okay. So
we also watched
kicked a lot of times.
We got humiliated, and I'll never forget it.
All right.
I also watched a movie called Tiptoes, starring Matthew McConaughey. Should check it out.
Check it out. All right. Will do.
So picture this, you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
I have always been a Ritz Bits with peanut butter and sugar-free Red Bull man. I also am partial to the Cliff Builders bars.
Okay.
And yeah.
Sounds good. So if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why? Yeah. It's a big question.
I think liver and onions.
Why?
It's not for everybody, but the people who like it really like it.
Okay. All right.
Do you like liver and onions?
I am a vegan.
So okay, all right. All right.
Interesting. Okay.
Sorry.
So where do you see the band in the next 5 years?
Probably settling out of court.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Hopefully we're still doing our thing,
Okay. All right.
Really good. So for the last couple of questions, we're actually going to shift away from music, if that's okay with you.
Sure.
Sick. So we're actually going to go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
I was going to say that's a record label, so we're not exactly. What my last meal and the drink?
Yes.
I'm guessing I got to change it up from liver and onions.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope so.
I think we go with a rigatoni
Mhm.
with marinara, sweet marinara, and vegan meatballs, or like some like Beyond sausage, something like that, and then a Heineken Zero,
All right.
very cold.
All right.
Perfect.
So if you could live in one fiction world for a week, where would you live?
One fiction world,
Yes.
like a fantasy world.
Yeah, like a book, movie, comic book, TV show.
Or just live in a movie. I just want to be in the mafia.
You want to be in the mafia?
Yeah.
You might be able to do that
So
in real life.
Yeah.
I'll just be. I don't want to do it in real life.
Oh, okay. You want to do
Yeah.
it for a week?
Yeah, I'll be.
And
I'll
then
just
you're
be
out.
in. I'll just be in The Sopranos.
The Sopranos.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So I have the honor of asking the last question. Every single person we've spoken to has said that it is the most important question. What is your favorite color?
Green.
You have a specific shade of green?
I like darker greens. Forest green.
Solid.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
So as Gloria said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
I'm. When does this come out?
A couple weeks.
Yeah.
Well, I'm currently running a campaign on my Instagram where I harass Heineken, trying to get them to sponsor me with their non-alcoholic beer.
Mhm.
I don't necessarily want to plug that, but I've just been doing it every day.
Mhm.
I have two other bands, Who Decides and Highway Sniper, and then I have a solo project called Growing Stone. Our album is out. You can buy it from Smart Punk, could stream it wherever. And we're doing some release shows on the East Coast and in the Midwest for that in January. The Midwest dates are with Somerset Thrower from New York, who are also great. So, yeah, a lot of exciting shit coming up.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for now. That's been Skylar from Taking Meds, and we have been the Noise Podcast.